What's going on, guys? Andrew Piluk Hockey here. I am back with another video, and today we are going to be talking about the game that the Toronto Maple Leafs just played against the Pittsburgh Penguins. 5-3 Penguins victory. Now let me get started by saying this. The Pittsburgh Penguins did play good, but the Toronto Maple Leafs played bad. Now, I tweeted out earlier that I've never seen a game more dominated and it's only a 1-goal lead. Because, you know, people get really frustrated when you say, oh, we're getting destroyed when it's only like a 1-goal lead. Well, the Toronto Maple Leafs tonight showed that at parts of the game when a lead is only 1 goal, that they can still be absolutely dominated, and it felt like a 12-0 loss. So we're going to get right into this. Shout out to the referees who worked this game because they were also terrible, just absolutely god-awful terrible. I'm not going to blame this game on the referees because they did not cost the Leafs the game. They cost them a couple chances in the game, but they were definitely pretty terrible. Shout out to the NHL for just having the worst officiating in all of sports. So we're going to get into the goaltending stats first of all. Frederik Andersen, again, hung out to dry. The Leafs literally have no defense left. And here, let me just get this started, because I know a lot of people are going to be frustrated with the fact that I'm frustrated with the Leafs, how they played. They've played good lately, but good teams don't have to take nights off. Yeah, you can have a bad game here and there, but here's the problem. The Toronto Maple Leafs could have won tonight, but they basically chose not to by the way they were playing. There were certain points in the game where they looked great, and then the rest of it, they looked terrible. So before you guys go, oh, you're hating on the team, I'm a diehard Leafs fan, and I'm not going to kiss their ass every game, okay? That's not how I roll. They did not play good tonight. They did not deserve to win, all right? So again, Freddie Andersen, 39 shots against, 5 goals against, 34 saves. The guy stopping as much as he can, but the team just won't help him at this point. Matt Murray, who wasn't that great tonight, he made saves when he had to, but the Leafs had chances that they didn't convert. 32 shots against, 29 saves. Good game for Matt Murray. I'm a fan of him. Good guy. He's gone through some rough stuff this year, but he's battled through it, and shout out to him because that's how men and women are born to be champions, by coming through beating adversity. I can't speak. I'm so angry. You know what, Matt Murray, I'm a fan. You did great. I'm sorry, guys. I'm really pissed off. Let's get to the first goal of the game. Carl Hagelin scored his 7th of the year off a passing play. This was the goal that I thought Frederik Andersen could have had, but the defense also left him out to dry. It was 1-0 Pittsburgh, and you could tell right off the jump that Pittsburgh had a little bit more of a step. They had a little bit more of a jump to their step, but the Leafs battled back a little bit. Connor Brown scores his 13th of the season out front. People seem to not like Connor Brown, but, you know, he's got 13. I'm a big fan of him, and he's continuing to do what he does, and that's score here and there, and he hustles. He had a good game tonight, in my opinion. Then the Leafs would get another one. Tyler Bozak would pot in his 9th of the season. Tyler no-goal-Zach, because he hasn't been scoring a lot this year, but that was his 9th of the season. I'm a nice guy, fan of him. He's done good for Toronto, but I don't know, maybe they should move him. So by then it was still 2-1, and Yevgeny Malkin would go out front. No defensive coverage. Ron Hainsey probably had the worst game of his career tonight. Basically did not know how to play at all tonight, just leaving guys wide open. And I was so upset with the way him and Riley played tonight. Just absolute garbage. Terrible garbage crap. God damn. Malkin scores wide open out front. Cannot stand that. Freddie Andersen had to extend his stick. Couldn't make the save because our defensemen were in no man's land, forgetting how to play hockey. So then Pittsburgh just started to pour it on. Crosby would kick one into the net. I'm surprised the way the NHL has gone this year that they didn't just count that. It is their golden boy in Sidney Crosby. He kicked it in. No goal, so the game still was left at 2. I'm all over the place. If this review is out of whack, I apologize. We go to the second period, And Zach Aston Reese, whoever the heck that is, no offense to him, he scored his 3rd goal of the season, and that would give the Pittsburgh Penguins a 3-2 lead. And I mean, this is just where the second period was where the Leafs just basically gave up. They were just getting so many shots against. There was no defensive coverage, and I'm just sick and tired of the way that the Leafs play when they're playing the Pittsburgh Penguins, I guess, because they just give up chances left and right. The Leafs had some good chances in spurts of this game, but I believe there was a point in the second period where they didn't have a shot for like 11 or 12 minutes, and it's just embarrassing when your team literally doesn't know how to shoot the puck. The Leafs were absolutely god-awful in the second period, just terrible. Then the Leafs would get a power play because they needed all the help they could get tonight. Patrick Marleau would score his 20th of the year, assisted by Connor Brown and Austin Matthews, who, again, Brown had a good night. Matthews, a lot of people, because he's basically our best player, will say he had a great night again, but he did not. Matthews missed about 3 open nets. Also, the Leafs had about 12 2-on-1s tonight, and they decided that shooting the puck was not an option on a 2-on-1, so they decided to pass it and miss basically every single one of them. They couldn't connect on anything. So that was a huge reason why the Leafs did not win tonight. Also, there was an interference call on Nikita Zaitsev tonight, and I watched the game, and I don't just watch a couple plays and then go on my phone for 10 minutes like a lot of people. I actually tried to watch this game intently like I do every single game, and there was an interference call on Nikita Zaitsev that should have been called, and it was, so they called it. Perfect, whatever. Then after the Leafs killed off the penalty, the referees decided that since Pittsburgh was back-to-back Stanley Cup champions and they just didn't want to call it, there was 2 calls back-to-back that Pittsburgh interfered with Leaf players. They didn't call it, gave Pittsburgh the benefit of the doubt, but again, the referees did not win this game for the Pittsburgh Penguins. The Leafs were outplayed in the second period, but the referees definitely had a part in the Leafs not having any further scoring chances on a power play because of the fact that they weren't given power plays. And it's unfortunate because the refereeing was kind of one-sided tonight. So going to the third period, there was a situation, I'm not sure if it was the second or third, I think it was the third period. The referees, again, decided to put away the whistles. Oli Mata and Zach Hyman were going into the boards, and tripping is usually when you trip somebody, self-explanatory, when, certainly like a play if a defenseman stuck his stick into a player's skates and then forced him into the boards to get a near brain injury. He ran into the boards head first after being tripped by Oli Mata, but it doesn't matter. They didn't call it. I guess the referees, again, just wanted to put away the whistles. The worst officiating in all of sports. You need to find new referees. They're just terrible. The NHL probably doesn't ever watch my videos, but if NHL officials watch my videos, there's some things I'd really like to say to you right now, but I'm not allowed to curse in these videos. Please never referee a game again, because you're terrible. You're absolutely terrible. That call was so bad. As something goes on in the background here, I'm not sure what that was. But anyways, your calls tonight were terrible. That one was the worst one of all of them. It was almost as bad as one of those goalie interference calls. I just cannot stand when it's such a one-sided call. That is tripping. When you trip somebody, when you stick your stick in between somebody's skates and they go headfirst into the boards, clearly that is a penalty. But again, they just put the whistles away and were like, you know what, forget it. We're not calling anything tonight. Let's go. Oh, look at that. Oli Mata, wouldn't you know? He scores his 4th of the season, gave Pittsburgh the lead with like 12 minutes to go. I was like, that's it. Because, the Leafs did their famous dump and chase Roman Polak game. And also, Mike Babcock, why are you putting, when Hyman went down, Leo Komarov comes onto the ice to play with Matthews and Nylander. So clearly, we should leave Kasperi Kapanen, arguably our brightest prospect in the system right now, sitting on the bench instead of having him on our first line to get some experience playing with skilled guys that he belongs with. Maybe not the first line, but he definitely deserves to play with some skilled players. So why the hell is Leo Komarov, who literally cannot hit the side of a barn with a shot, playing on our top line? Give me a break. Why is this guy even on the ice at all? We have way better players that should be playing right now instead of this piece of crap who can't score. Wide open net, his stick breaks. Give me a break. The guy couldn't have scored if he had a wide open net on a breakaway. Leo Komarov should not be playing anymore on the Toronto Maple Leafs. You need to give a better replacement. Andreas Johnson, whatever, Johnson from the Marlies can score, and he's a probably better defensive forward than Leo Komarov. Some people say that Johnson can replace JVR. And you're telling me that Leo Komarov is still on the ice? And you put him on the first line. It was short-lived because Hyman came back, thank God, because I would have smashed my head through a wall if I had to see him play with them for 5 more minutes. And this is no disrespect to Leo as a human, but he's not good enough to play with those guys anymore. Stop putting him on the ice. It's so sickening to watch this crap every game and watch him suck every single time he's on the ice. And it's the same thing with Roman Polak. The guy just ices the puck every time he's on the ice. You're telling me you can't find somebody else? Oh, let's trade for, we're going to go and trade for another defenseman, and Polak will still end up in the lineup somehow. God damn it. Then Brian Rust just puts it away, his 9th of the season, and hasta la vista, that's all she wrote. Toronto Maple Leafs take a 5-3 defeat, and a lot of people are probably going to be frustrated with the fact that I am so mad after this game, but this was a huge test. The Toronto Maple Leafs need to win these games against big opponents like this. And quite frankly, the Leafs had a chance to win tonight, and they blew it. They literally sucked so bad in the second period that they probably just shouldn't have showed up for the second period, because Freddie Anderson was the only one playing, apparently. So, you know what? Leafs, I'm always going to support you. I'm always going to watch. But this was a game to forget. And I don't care if the score was only 5-3. It was a blowout on the ice. The product on the ice was crap. Let me know what you guys think of this video. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. Love to have more hockey conversations with you. I'll see you in the next video or stream. Peace.